Good morning, students. So after a long period of time, we are all gathered here. We are taking the online classes and we are making the video clips for you all. So due to the outbreak of this pandemic COVID virus disease, all we are entrapped inside our house. Neither the students can come inside the school and neither we can teach as our usual learning process, the teaching learning process. It is going to be hampered in a great way. So we have arranged one online class for you students, and I shall be taking your English 2, class 6 English 2, and I shall be teaching today Skylark. You know that previously I have given some PDF in our site, Eastern Academy, the website we have got, I think, the PDFs. So based on that continuation part, today I will start once again the story of the SUBHO'S, chapter number 5 from the book of Skylark, English 2. Now, I am going to start with the story. You know that this story is based on a small girl. The whole story engulfs about the rescue of a small bird, white bird, and it was rescued by Fritha. The name of the girl is Fritha, and she will take the small bird to a man known as Radha. So Radha was a very elderly person, and he used to live in a lighthouse, and it was away from the general place where the people used to stay of that locality of that area. It was a marshy place. Now what is marsh? Marsh is a place where the soil is absolutely wet and damp area, where the soil is drenched with water all the time. So now the whole story is about rescue of a bird by Fritha, and she will take the bird. The bird was wounded absolutely, and she will take the bird rather for its speedy revival, I should say. One November afternoon, 3 years after Radha had come to the great marsh, a child approached the lighthouse studio. In her arms, she carried a burden. She was no more than 12, slender, dirty, nervous, and timid as a bird, but beneath the green, as yearly beautiful as a marsh fairy. So it is all about the description of the small girl, but in the first paragraph, we are not getting the details about the small girl. Her name was Fritha. So Fritha went to the house of Radha, where Radha used to stay in a lighthouse studio, and there she went. It is all about the description of Fritha, 12, slender, dirty, nervous, and timid as a bird, but beneath her green and yearly beautiful as a marsh fairy. Her dress was also dirty. Her dress was also dirty, and also she was strangely figured, but her appearance seemed to be like a marsh fairy. She was fair, with deep-set violet-colored eyes. So if I need the description of the small girl Fritha from here, you are supposed to write the answer. Okay. She was very frightened of the ugly man she had come to see, but greater than her fear was a need, for she came to know that this owl who lived in the lighthouse had magic that could heal injured things. Fritha was going to the house of Radha. She was present at the house of Radha. It was only for the need to save a small bird. For that reason, it was not her wish to visit the lighthouse. Rather, it was her need to heal, to cure a small bird which was wounded by a gunshot. Okay. So she went there, observing strangely one gigantic type of person, and this person was none other than Radha. So Radha was the name of a person. He lived in the lighthouse, and also his description we will get after this paragraph. She had never seen Radha before. So here the mention of Radha once again we are getting. Before I was close to fleeing in panic at the dark figure that appeared at the studio door. The black head and beard, the arm, and the crooked claw. So it was all about the imagination about Radha. Fritha was a small girl. She was absolutely afraid to visit Radha at the lighthouse. The figure of Radha was absolutely tall. He was black head and beard was having at his face, arm, and a crooked claw. So it was all the some kinds of imagery description and also a realistic description about the Radha who was living at the lighthouse studio. She stood there, staring, calm like a disturbed marsh bird for instant flight. But his voice was deep and kind. When she spoke to her, "What is it, child?" So as soon as Radha opened the door of his house, she found a small pretty girl who was standing at the doorstep. So at the first glance, Radha was also unknown to Frida, likewise Frida was also unknown to Radha. So as soon as they meet each other at the door, Radha asked Frida, without asking her name, she at first asked Frida that what was there in your hands? What was there in your hand? What is it? Child. Child means Frida here. She stood her ground and then moved timidly forward. The thing she carried in her arms was a large white bird, and it was quite still. There were stains of blood on its whiteness and on her kittle when she had held it to her. So Frida was absolutely mum. She did not reply anything. She only took out the small bird and handed it to Radha. So on the curtain here, kittle means the dress of Frida. Is referred here as kittle. So on the dress, the blood stain, the oozing blood, from the wounded part of the small bird was coming out, and it was all mixed up with the dress of our Frida, with the dress of Frida. So she was the blood stain was coming out on the dress of Frida. The girl placed it in his arm. So the girl placed it in his arm. It found it. It is hard. Is it still alive? So Frida was absolutely confused. After discovering the bird from the marsh, she took it to the house of Radha, and as a result, she was absolutely puzzled that whether the bird was alive or the bird was dead, because blood was coming out constantly from the wounded part of the small bird. So Frida was sad and also puzzled with the condition of the bird. Yes, I think so. Come in, child, come in. So Radha received Frida from the doorstep, and she asked Frida to come inside the house. Radha went inside bearing the bird, which he placed upon a table where it moved feebly. Curiosity overcame fear. The girl followed it and found herself in a room warmed by a coal fire, shining with many colored pictures that covered the walls. So Radha went inside along with the bird, bearing the bird, means by taking the bird, Radha went inside the house, which he placed upon a table, and he took the bird and placed it on the table, where it just moved in a very slow process. The bird responded in a very slow process. Curiously overcome fear. Now they were in a fear. At first they were in a fear that whether the bird was still alive or the bird was dead. Now as it moved slowly, so they came to the conclusion, yes, the bird was still alive. Life was there inside the body of the small bird. The girl followed it and found herself in a room warmed by coal fire. Outside, the atmosphere was absolutely cold, chilly cold, and when Frida, after crossing a distance in this cold atmosphere, she reached the house of Radha, and inside the house of Radha, warm ventilation was made by igniting the charcoal fire, and the whole room was absolutely warm. I should not say hot, it was warm, because in cold marsh areas, there the people are using the charcoal fire, the wood fire to ignite the house, to make the room temperature especially warm. Okay, in those places sometimes snowfall take place, and also the temperature is going so below that survival is becoming very difficult for them. As a result, they are using fire to create warmth inside the room, a kind of heater. So Frida was comfortable with that temperature inside the room of Radha, shining with many colored pictures that covered the walls. The bird fluttered. Now the bird moved on. The bird just moved in a very slow way. With his good hand, Radha spread one of its immense white pinions. Now the end was beautifully tipped with black. Radha looked and marveled and said, "Child, where did you find it?" So Radha just took the bird in its own hand, and it was just measuring, and it was just seeing the condition that where the bird was wounded. As a result, what happened that he took the outer cover of the feather, outer cover of the wings, and tried to see that where the bird was hit by the gunshot, or how the bird was hit, what happened in reality. Radha was absolutely trying his level best to track out, to see that what the things are going on. Okay, how the bird was injured, what happened actually, how the intensity of the injury was. So all these kind of questions he tried to solve out. And at last, rather asked the child that where from you have discovered this little bird in it marsh, sir, where fowlers have been. What is it, sir? So in the marsh I found this small bird and it was fallen over there. Okay, it's a snow goose from Canada, but how in all heaven came it here? So rather replied that the name of the small bird is snow goose. So here we are discovering the title of the story and also the name of the small bird. So the bird was all about, the name of the bird was all about our snow goose, and it came from Canada. It was flying away from Canada with their own flocks, with its own flock. It was just moving from Canada and moving to a different place. But how it all heaven came it here? So how it mismatched and reached in that area of cold marsh? The name seemed to mean nothing to the little bird. Her deep violet eyes shining out of the dirt on her thin face were fixed with concern on the injured part. So the things were not entering the mind of Fritha. She was trying her level best to see the condition of the small bird. So about the previous details of the small bird, that where from it came, how it mismatched and entered inside the area of the marsh place, he was absolutely unaware about all these facts. The only thing was going on that how could she revive the condition of the small bird? That the injury will heal or not? It was a big question for Fritha, and how it will be moving on, and when the wounded bird will be cured in a fine way. So all these things about the survival of the snow goose, Fritha was thinking all about all these things, but nothing was entering her head. She was puzzled, she was confused with the condition of the small bird. She said, "Can he heal it, sir?" So this red colored caption, "Can he heal it, sir?" it means a different thing. It means, "Can you heal it, sir?" So Fritha asked in a very earnest way to Radha. She said that, "Sir, is it possible for you to cure this little bird?" She asked a straightforward question to Radha, that whether it will be possible for you, sir, to cure, to heal, to repair, I should say, the little bird. Yes, said Radha. Radha said yes. We will try all your best. Come, you shall help me. Now it's your time. You please come on and help me so that I can cure this little bird from its injury. Now to heal that little bird, he needs the assistance of somebody else. And as Fritha was present, Fritha became the helping hand of Radha. There were scissors and bandages and splints on a shelf, and he was marvelously deft even with the crude claw that managed to hold things. So all the things needed for surgery, all the things necessary for operation were present in the house of Radha. So Radha was a very noble man. He was very honest. So without wasting much time, he, along with the help of Fritha, tried their level best to cure the small bird. They both went into action. They suddenly started to operate the healing bird. Okay. So what happened then? Radha took out some scissors, bandages, and splint, and started to recover the wounded part of the small bird. He said, she had been shot, poor thing. He said, he means who? Radha there. So he gave the conclusion, Radha gave the conclusion that this poor bird, this small bird, had been shot down by any gunman. Okay, so gunman while shooting, while hunting, he had hunted this small bird. Her leg is broken and the wing tip, but not badly. Her leg is broken and her wing tip, but not badly. So not so much injury. We can bandage it. We can cover it with a small bandage, and in the spring the feathers will grow and she will be able to fly again. So this was all about the conception of Radha, which we are getting while healing the small bird snow goose. Okay. So what did he say? That Radha took the responsibility and he was planning to bandage the wounded part, and then what will happen in the spring season when the birds are giving new feather, again new feather will come out in the body of the snow goose and it will be cured once again. We will bandage it closely to her body so that she cannot move it until it has set, and then we will make a sling from the poor leg. So we will put a small splint in the beside the leg of the snow goose, so that it can take the support of the splint, and the leg will be taking rest, and after some time or after certain months it will be cured once again. Her fears forgotten, the child was fascinated as he worked, and all the more so because while he fixed a fine splint to the shattered leg, he told her the most wonderful story. So while putting the small splint inside the leg of the snow goose, what he did, he just took the leg and just put the small splint, and in this way the operation was going on. So the operation was a bit lengthier. It would have taken time. So as Rita was a small girl, so she could have been so much bored or so much tired. But to entertain her, our Radha was telling a whole story about the movement of this small bird from canal to the marsh, where it reached, and it was unfortunately shot down by the gunman, by a hunter. Okay. So Rider was about to narrate the whole story, which he was thinking what happened with the small bird, that is the snow goose. Okay. So today, after this wonderful story, in the next class we shall be starting with our remaining part, and then we shall continue with the rest of the part. And following this part, today I shall produce some PDF constructed the answer to the exercise questions, and I will attach with this video. Just follow this one. Okay. Thank you.